There we go. I think that's better.
Yeah, let me turn
Can you
it.
hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Let me just turn it down a little bit. All right, go ahead and talk real quick.
The purple cow went to the beach.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, man. For some reason, if I plug my headset in after I start up Discord, I gotta like unplug it and shit and unmute the mic, or it's taking it off my laptop mic. So we should be good. Yeah, man. I can't get my mic to work on my PC because I run a Mac, and I only use my shitty Windows PC for test server purposes,
Gotcha.
and it's just a pile of shit. You know what I mean? I think like the mic ports are fucking fucked up on it and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. I understand.
It's pretty trashy.
Yeah, my old
Gets the
laptop was
job
like
done though.
that.
Yeah, so nature's really good.
Yeah, it is. As a matter of fact, it kind of switched my perspective on the damage out that electric was is putting out before 1.4 hit, because in all reality the trigger hadn't been hasn't been pulled yet, but it's on the hush that electric is the most OP power. I don't know if you know that yet.
Well, I can do very similar things with electric and nature and also sorcery. Sorcery not as awesome,
Not
but
as awesome,
really
yeah.
close. Really
Yeah,
close.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you can get close with sorcery.
Yeah.
Um,
But electric and
nature's up
nature are
exactly.
real good.
Exactly, but I'm saying pre 1.4. You know what I mean? Once 1.4 hit, I tested the three powers, and hard light seems to be in third place, rage seems to be in second, and nature is in first by far. And it is as such that it's competing with, if not beating, electric at the moment. The thing is this.
I'd say they're all really close. Nature and electric are really close.
No, they are. They are.
Especially like if you could run a
They're
more power heavy setup with electric, electric does fucking fantastic. Like if you could use a tracked and E bomb in the same loadout and run two dots, that's a killer. That's a killer loadout right there.
now look at the perspective it's given me though. I've tested with ice. I've tested with atomic, and I tested with the one that's not putting out as much damage out of the bunch that just came out now, 1.4 with hard light. And let me tell you, man, they're not putting up those numbers. They're not putting up those numbers. They slow down the pace of the game.
No, ice needs a buff. Ice is decent, but ice needs Snow Devil needs a kick up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The what I fear is if I bring this up to the forums, I don't want them to nerf electricity in nature, because I like the pace of the game with the damage out that it's putting. What I want them to do is to bring the other powers back up to par with electric and nature. You know what I mean? Because I don't know if you've
Mhm.
tested it, but you just said it yourself that you think that ice is just it's not getting up there. You know, it's good because it's not a
Yeah, it's
bad power.
definitely good, but it needs a little something else. Gadgets is lacking too. Gadgets need some
Yup,
help,
yup.
but Gadgets was so fucked up from the beginning. You know, like there was just so many problems with Gadgets.
Yeah, and power cost heavy too.
Yeah,
And
I
the
feel the
and the
people in
and
the Gadget
the
thread
yeah.
weren't loud enough when they were making changes. You know, they were kind of just coasting by and letting things happen.
Yeah, man.
And like sometimes you have to be not an asshole, but just more upfront about what you really want to get things changed. You know, you can't always just sit back and just let everything happen.
So
Yeah.
exactly, if and I'm thinking about writing a post on there and discussing what I found out and what I've tested, but try to lean it heavily towards bring the other ones up to par. Don't nerf electric and nature. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they don't really like I feel all the powers are the healing powers are all really good. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Nature electricity slightly better than sorcery. But then I'm not taking into account for grand summoning and stuff like that when I'm talking.
Well, that,
sorcery stuff.
well, you know what? That's even better. That there's even more powers that are within that ballpark range. But that the fact that I feel like ice and atomic and gadgets are getting forgotten about a little bit.
Yeah, I haven't ventured into atomic too much
Yeah, it's
because of the power cost and some of the combos and
yeah,
stuff, and it's hard for me to just, like I go on content, and I usually don't play on this name when I do raids. I sneak on an undercover name and do raids because the crappy heals comes into a group, and now all of a sudden everyone stops testing everything and they just want a DPS comp. And I don't. I mean, this is test server. I'm not here to fuck around like that.
yeah.
So I don't. I hardly ever raid on this name unless I'm playing with like my personal friends that I play with online and stuff like that.
Gotcha. Yeah, I literally just saw your comment in the video, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna try my luck and see if he's on.
Listen, so what are you trying to? What do you do with nature? You ever try Swarm 2 dots, like Swarm, Vine Lash, Briar, Harvest, Voracious? That's a good loadout. You could do something with. You use Wolf Form to put out your dots. So you would put Roar, Vine Lash, Briar, in Wolf Form, and then you put your dots out of Wolf Form for bosses, and then you switch back to Human Form, and you have a supercharge on your loadout. You have Harvest for your dot refresh, Swarm, Carnage, Voracious Plants, and Return to Wolf. And then you have all your dots, but then you have extra slots on your human loadout, so now you have a supercharged and Swarm. So you got 3 dots Swarm and a supercharge and your burst going with your buff.
Gotcha.
And that's a good loadout, and they did a good job on
Is
balancing it.
are you mixing in weapon attacks in between all that, or is that
Yeah, I'm
okay?
doing weapon attacks with all of it.
Okay, so you're running it like hybrid solar flare. Is this what you're running at the moment?
No, I've just been messing around with a whole bunch of other things right now, like because I know those are solid loadouts, but those are something that you would use in a raid at a boss because you don't fuck around with form changes everywhere. But like I found a nice loadout that I like using Serpent Call. Did I say Roar before when I was talking? I meant Serpent Call if I said Roar.
Yeah, I'm using serpent calls as well. What I'm
Serpent Call, Swarm,
what I'm doing is
Voracious Carnage.
I'm starting my rotation off with swarm, and then immediately going into serpent call. Then I'm spamming voracious plants for about, I don't know, like it's 10 voracious plants, while I wait about 4 seconds after swarm is off cooldown to go ahead and reapply swarm and serpent call. So that's my regular rotation, right?
I wasn't getting really good numbers doing that. I mean, I was getting good numbers with it, but like,
That's the thing. Did you hyperspec into might? Because a lot
yeah,
of
I
people
did.
you
I
did,
did.
right, and you did
But
good.
like, what I can do with a regular loadout in a raid setting, not like a duo or something or an
Hmm.
alert. I mean, where things live a little bit longer. Like, I mean, I know a normal loadout clearly outplays it, especially on a boss. Like, you would never keep up doing that on a boss to someone who was using some dots because if you think about it, you're still basically spamming voracious plants, but you
Krabby,
just have dots and swarm running in the background. So essentially, I mean, you
Krabby,
have damn it.
I ran this like 4 times in a raid today, and it did well, man. It did so well. Look,
Oh no, I definitely agree that it would do well.
look what happened. Look what happened. So normally, I've ran about 200 Olympus runs in test server, right? And I know that the average now for a good Olympus run is about 13 million to 16 million by the DPS, right? And most DPS fall within that top 16 million to 18 million range if they're good. If they're not that good, they'll fall between the other range, which is about 13 to 16, right? The thing is this, the most that I had ever seen on there ever was No Name running Electricity Hybrid, and he was able to hit 19s and 20s on Olympus. Mind you, this is extensive runs, man, with people out of the league and people within the league, where I'm getting these averages from, you know what I mean? Well, I just ran an Olympus run today, doing what I'm doing now, and I was able to pull out 25 million.
Oh yeah, I don't doubt that it does well,
Yeah,
but you
that's
could do better.
that's
You
the
know what I
thing.
mean?
I'm not that great with nature. Like I told you when we started here, I
Oh, here, let
never
me queue
played it
up for
before.
this.
So what I want to do is I want to test out what I'm doing good with this, with what you're doing. You know what I mean? Because I know you know this power.
You
So
should put me on your league hall access so I could come in there with you.
are you not? Oh man, I think they. I don't have invite rights. To be honest with you, and
Oh, well, you know what? I could give
nobody's
you
on.
access to my league hall. I mean, because you could see the clear difference if you put some dots going on in the background. And for sure, I wouldn't put dots on ads. That's slowing you down. But I would use roar on the ads. I don't know if my gear is fucked up. Or not roar. Why do I keep saying roar? Serpent call. So like I'd start out with the swarm, always run up to the ads that your swarm already going, do like a weapon combo and some of this, some serpent call, which I keep
Mm-hmm.
calling roar for some reason,
No,
and then just
I'm recording right now. I'm definitely probably gonna watch this and watch what you're doing as well, a couple of times. You know what I'm saying? To see what you're doing with the power.
yeah, my gear is only spec. This is just a roundabout testing spec that I have right here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm spec'd exactly straight down the middle, might and precision, just for like testing purposes. So when I'm doing other powers and everything, I just have a solid build with all of them.
Okay, okay. I'm hyping my
So
inspect right now.
I got 40 into power. Let me see. Let me go to my stuff.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll know.
40 into power. All my crits. 45 into precision. 45 into might. And then my gear is spec precision might reds, yellows precision power, and my chest legs are might and health, just to give it that equal balance. Just for like, this isn't something I'd normally run. I mean, I was mixing and matching and seeing what works a little bit better,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, I'm not worried about really what works the best right
Yeah,
now.
you,
Like
you're just
tiny little
you're just
number crunching.
exactly. You're just really seeing what it has to offer you, seeing the
Yeah, because I
numbers,
like to go
watching the
back and forth between
rotations.
the powers
Yeah,
to see what's doing better and what something could
exactly.
be done a little bit better, because some things just aren't as awesome as some other things.
Gotcha. Well, I have
Yeah.
my criticals, the 20 and 40. I have one into precision, one into power, and 111 into might. All my reds are might, my blues are might, and my yellows are might and power. That's how I'm modded out.
Yeah, that's what I was doing it too when I was testing that out. I just put might in everything, basically everything, just to see what was up with it. Inspect all. I have 205 skill points too, so I put them all in the might, one in power, all my crits.
Do you have anything spec into power with that right now?
Right now, I have 40 in the power,
40.
just so I could do stuff at the sparring targets
Gotcha.
when I go there.
All right. Ready?
All right, I guess let's get this show on the road.
Like that one shot.
Oh, does the supercharge not reach that far?
So just for testing purposes, nothing on the utility belt but the might buff trinket, right?
Yeah, I wasn't even going to use my trinkets.
Okay.
I'm just going like just straight off my bar.
All right. So no trinkets either.
Nah, I'm not doing no trinkets or buff coals or anything.
All right. Let's go.
How about the fucking supercharge though?
Which
Supercharge is actually really good.
which one are you using?
Um,
Carnivorous plants?
Carnivorous, yeah.
Yeah, carnivorous plants is fucking awesome. You're doing pretty damn good.
My controller. I'm using my fucked up controller. I miss my weapon
compared to the
combo.
other runs I've done. I've been just running a bunch of these with different people at different CRs.
I got that supercharged too. Yeah, I still have some things to test. You know, I'm not like stuck on one loadout and stuff of what I'd like to use. I'm just getting just a roundabout on things. I am really happy that nature doesn't suck.
Yeah, it fucking performs awesome.
That was my concern, that nature was gonna suck. And I totally would have been bummed out. I've been learning a couple little things too with it, here and there. Oh my god, he almost killed me.
Well, you're definitely putting out great damage though. More than I expected, to be honest with you. Which is good. Which means that, hey, it's not broken, you know what I mean? This is just a straight up play from the tray loadout that works, you know what I mean? And keeps up.
Oh yeah, they definitely, I mean, both ways work pretty good. I'm using something that's a little slower for damage too in a duo compared to what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, because you're just basically pounding out the damage. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm doing like weapon combos are a little slower. Serpent
Correct.
Call is a little slower damage. You know?
Correct. Where I was at, where I'm just trying to boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
No, and trust me, I played the Stats Revamp enough that I can tell you 90% of the Stats Revamp I played hybrid style. You know what I mean? And I still play hybrid style. All I do is find these loadouts every now and then, and I'm like, all right, let me test this. And so I don't just go and make an opinion based off.
Listen, the first thing, oh, sorry to cut you off. The first thing I tested
Mm-hmm.
was Swarm and Spam and Voracious Plants when I got on because of, you know, what we encountered last time.
Yeah, which was the first thing I did when I switched to the power as well. I was like, please God, don't let this be. But it wasn't. It wasn't actually putting what the actual loadouts were putting out. You know what I mean? It does great.
Yeah, no, that stuff was doing really good, and some people were, you know, I don't know. We just had that whole spiel on the forums where I don't know. People are
I'll tell you
annoying.
this. With like ice, you can get probably like 16, 18K on a parser, on a good parser. With Swarm alone, you get like 14K. Just with Swarm. You gotta do nothing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Swarm is really good. The dots do very little damage, but I guess the dots do very little damage, so then you can't combine everything together and be, oh my god, this guy's gonna kick my ass, and be super OP. Oh my god, he fucking wrecked me.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to get you.
No, I was trying to drop a supply drop to live, but he
Yeah, I'm
creamed me
here
with the
talking
hammer and
and
knocked me
I wasn't
over.
even paying attention. I'm here talking and thinking about, just that I would like to see Ice, being able to keep up with this kind of damage. Well, yeah, you told me you played other powers on the Stats Revamp, so.
Yeah, from what I was doing with all the other powers, though, I mean, they're not, like, terrible.
Let me switch to gorilla form. Take some of that shit.
You could heal yourself, too. That's what I like.
Oh, he got me with the fucking.
Oh my
shit.
god, shit!
What a fucking cheeser. Man, if this shit would have been Street Fighter, would have gotten that cheese symbol.
I just wasn't paying attention, man. I was just blabbing with you, and I wasn't even paying attention to my health.
Same here, man. Fucking A.
We just wiped in a duo. Ah.
Yeah.
That's what you get for bullshitting. I'm over here looking at my Discord too because my computer was making a funny noise.
Oh man. Well, what I mean is the pace that we have using these powers right now, I feel is great for the game, because if you've played with the other powers and you've ran this duel before, you know the pace is just a little bit slower. So I just feel like those fucking powers should just be brought up to par somehow, and be
With
doing more
electric and
damage.
sorcery, I thought they went very smooth too. It just depends who you're playing with too.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm not trying to say I'm awesome, but like I really don't have a problem with any of the powers. Sure, some are a little quicker, but like I mean, sorcery is like a cakewalk. You know, with a pet if you're using that loadout.
Hmm.
You know, like I hate pets. You know, I frown upon them a little bit.
Well, I
Alright,
mean,
ready?
I'm just saying because I feel those two powers, atomic and ice. I know those powers, man. Those are the powers I've been playing on life for a long time, and I tested the hell out of them. And I can't see. It might have been different for you because you tested the other powers. A lot of the ones that probably aren't lacking like those two are. You know what I mean? Um, but I don't know, man. And I did pretty well with ice and atomic. But then when we started finding out, different techniques and getting higher DPS, we weren't able to break that barrier with ice and atomic. You know what I mean? No matter what we did.
Nah. Ice is close, but it's not. Snow Devil's so weak. I think that's one of the main things holding it back.
Yeah, if they just buff Snow
Is
Devil
Snow
to like a
Devil is
swarm style,
really shitty.
yeah, Snow Devil should either be like a permanent pet, like sorcery, or just yeah, just buff
Do
the
more
damage.
damage.
Yeah,
You
just
know,
buff the damage on it. All right, let's
the
see.
gadget turret kind of stinks too. I'm ready whenever you are.
All right, let's go.
I'm still trying to figure out a good ratio for power. Versus you know what I mean, like my power ratio, how many skill points I want to spec into power and whatnot.
Yeah, 40 to 50 seems to be what like everybody's comfortable at and able to do their rotation at, from what I've heard and seen and tested for myself. When I was running hybrid, I was running with 50 in power, and it was good because it wasn't too much. Where I don't feel like I'm wasting points into power where I could be putting them into might. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt. That's why I got just spec 40 into them. I figured I was doing okay.
yeah,
That
like
was much smoother than I paid attention that time.
exactly. See, like something like carnivorous plants, for example. Um, th- that feels a lot stronger than the 2000 supercharge for Wintry Tempest. I mean, for
Yeah, definitely.
look, I even called it Wintry Tempest. You see what I'm saying? Blizzard.
I got you. But like Blizzard, the superchargers on some of the stuff needs to be a little bit better.
Yeah, if Blizzard was tweaked a little bit, then that could bring it up to par as well. Because the best rotation I found was using the supercharged generator.
Yeah, I usually don't like the supercharged generators, but this one's actually not bad with nature. Some of them aren't super awesome. I mean, there's so many discrepancies. For most of the powers, though, I've noticed that no matter what combination of stuff you put together, out of the things that work good, they're all on the same damage level. Like, no matter what I do with nature, out of the things that work good, I get about the same results.
Okay.
Nothing is like miles better.
Gotcha.
I mean, there are things
Or
that
miles
suck.
below, yeah.
Yeah, there are some things that aren't awesome.
Exactly.
But the top things are all pretty balanced out. Like they did a really good job on the balance for the most part, except we just have to get a few things picked up.
Yeah. No,
I think we
and you know
will, though.
what? In seeing the damage out here, and I kind of called it at the gate because I kind of call them all at the gate because in here you got to get the bubbles and whatnot. I kind of called it at the gate, and I remember you were ahead as well. But I'm happy for that because I'm happy that somebody who knows the power, and is playing a hybrid and is playing different rotation than mine. Whereas I can play a PFFT and keep up with that at similar CR. Hey, that shows balance. That shows promise in the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't even have the optimal spec either.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just have just a random spec.
Yeah. And I have about 6 hours of experience with nature.
What do you have in your weapon
Total.
mod? Do you have blaster adapter for your weapon mod?
Yeah, I have blast adapter because
Oh, see, I don't have blaster adapter in my stuff too, so I could have done a little better without it. Right now, just for testing stuff, I have the replenishing adapter, so I get more power.
more power.
But I mean, if I was running this, like, I really don't need it.
Because I'm clipping.
You know what I mean?
I'm clipping this before every power though.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why it helps me regen a little bit of power back.
Yeah, I definitely, I like blaster adapter better, but just so I'm always good on power when I'm testing things, I just have the power back right now.
Yeah.
That actually does good damage, though, compared to what we do now. So, like, that's a good mod to have.
No, and there is something to be said for investing into power to be able to push out more damage with a higher cost loadout. You know what I mean? So,
Oh, for sure.
There is a balance there where the power that you're putting into the rotation that you're trying to figure out is going to translate into more damage in the end as well.
Yeah, because if you're running out of power, you're not going to do good. I'm going to go finish up this daily that I was doing. Unless you want to...
Nah, man, I'm going to actually call it a night, man. And thank you. Thank you for testing and running with me. Because, I got to fucking work tomorrow, man, believe it or not. So,
yeah, maybe I'll have to jump on my other guy that has some more gear and jump in a raid with you guys one day.
Yeah, man. It'd be awesome.
I really don't like to run with a lot of people. Like, I mean, you guys are good dudes, but I hate to just jump in a random group and everyone's like crappy heals DPS comp, and I'm just like, I'm not having that right now.
Yeah. No, everybody. I mean, we're there for testing. You know what I mean? When the crew gets together, we're there for testing, and we know it. And people, they're like, hey, hold up, let me switch this up, let me test this out. Because it's not always every loadout that you're gonna try on a sparring target is gonna work in a raid. So you got to take it into a raid. But then if it doesn't work in a raid, you're probably gonna get second, third, fourth DPS. But it doesn't mean that you fucking suck. It just means that loadout didn't work. You know what I mean?
No, definitely. The dummies are only a gauge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're helpful to a point, but then you have to use your own common sense in what is going to work better in a raid.
Now, do you find yourself having to step away every fucking 10 seconds to get some power back? Ain't that some shit?
No, man, I'm good. I one of my testing specs, I literally have like 146 skill points spec'd into power. So when I'm at the sparring targets, I don't run out. So that way I could use whatever I want.
Power back, loadout.
Yeah, because when we're on live, when this goes live, you're going to use whatever loadout is the best. Think of this.
Yeah.
If there's a best loadout, people are going to use that loadout because everybody wants to be ahead on DPS. Whether it takes 1 or 2 trolls, the best loadout is always going to be used because people want to be top DPS. So everything needs to be tested no matter how high the power cost is.
Exactly.
And that's something that devs didn't understand when they took away the power and all that. Because, what if there's some high power cost loadouts that are exceeding and maybe are a little bit OP, but nobody could test them?
Exactly. And then it hits live, and then people can give that power out.
And then everybody is doing all kind of broken shit on live.
Exactly. And then we're gonna have to wait for fixes and patches on fucking live.
if like when I tell people how much time I spend testing stuff, and like I test everything. I test combinations of stuff you would never even think of, and like I'm very thorough. And then I test on one target,
But
3 targets, 8 targets. I take that into raids, contents. I do other powers, do the same things with them. I like
that's
to be thorough.
yeah,
I like to know
that's the
what
way to
everything's
do it.
doing.
That's the only
I
way to
just
do
don't
it.
want things to be messed up. There's a lot riding on this revamp,
Yeah.
and everyone's putting the pressure on me now for nature.
I bet, huh?
They're
Even
like,
I.
"You're the
I was
nature
like, come
guy."
on,
They're
Crappy,
like,
that's
"Don't
a
fail us
joke.
now."
Yeah, but I
They did a
like
good
it.
job, though. I don't even have to really shout too much. Nature turned out good. Nature Electric turned out very well.
Yes, they did.
So did Sorcery. So I wish, yeah, we'll get the other powers straightened out.
Exactly.
Right now, I was just on a kick of the healing powers because that's really my area. But after they're all set in stone, I'll definitely be moving on to the other things and opening up my big mouth in the other threads.
I'll be
And all
honest
the
with you,
forum kids will be arguing with me.
when I saw the forum post that Stats Revamp 1.4 was out, and I was reading it, I didn't expect that they were going to release 3 powers with it. I just thought they were going to tweak the 6 that were on there, right? And then I saw that nature was on there, and I swear to you, the first thing I thought is, holy shit, Crappy's got to be dancing right now.
Listen,
Don't.
my kick chat was blowing up. People were like, "Nature's on test." I was like, "Bullshit, it's like 6 o'clock. Get out of here." And I went on the forums and checked it. I was like, "No way." Fucking turned my computer right on. Got right on. I was like, "Let's go." And I was so surprised when I was reading the notes. I almost shed a tear that nature still had poison and you could spread them and refresh them. I was like, let's fucking go.
And they streamlined it as well, from what I read, because like I said, I never played it before, but they took away a PI. That probably.
Yeah, I had a terrorized PI. That was something Tunzo did, and it was kind of a stupid idea for the weapon mastery days because, I don't
But
know,
it's good
nature,
that I feel like they took something like that, and taken that away, they just streamlined the power, and
yeah.
gives me hope for the other powers, as a matter of fact.
Some people are like, Swarm is really good, and I'm getting scared that they're going to poop on Swarm. But while Swarm is really good, if you think about it, nature doesn't have any true burst like another power. Like I could go in with electric
Nature needs
and
swarm.
bang
Yeah,
out something like E-bomb and attract over and over and put up fucking some
yeah.
super awesome numbers with electrocute going in the background and do really good burst damage. But I don't have something like that with nature, so Swarm being there is kind of my burst slash dot thing, and then Voracious Plants.
Yes.
So I kind of have
Swarm.
a little bit of burst,
Swarm
but
is
then they
awesome.
kept it with the dot theme, and I like that.
Swarm is awesome, but Swarm should be the feeling you get from Swarm. You should get from every power. That's all I'm saying. And I didn't get that from Ice or fucking Atomic.
No, man, when I
Atomic
pulled
got
out Snow
close.
Devil for the first time, I didn't even have any other pets to judge Snow Devil off. And I was just like, this thing stinks.
Yeah,
You
it's
know what I
fucking
mean? I
child's
was like,
play.
this stinks.
Snow Devil
I
is
mean,
child's play.
granted, Swarm does cost 350 power, so it is a very high cost move.
But Snow Devil's 300 and it does
I
shit.
know, and it's garbage.
And you gotta refresh it quite often for the shit damage it does. Just so you can have
And you
two
could
out at
look
the
at
same
it
time.
from a pet versus pet standpoint and be like, well, this pet is much better than this pet. But then when you look at it from the grand scheme of the whole power, like electric is still pretty on par with nature. Even though nature has one really good move like that, I mean, it's still right up there. I think they're pretty damn good. I think,
Yeah, but Nature's Electrocute and Tesla Ball and it's just and the supercharge that it has to buff itself and its damage out. Oof.
you know what, the supercharge that buff yourself, those are trash.
But did you try
The
the
crit chance supercharges,
the electric one?
yeah, I don't like any of them.
You didn't run it?
I did. I don't like them. I'd rather use Megavolt. You get more bang for your buck out of it.
Well,
The superchargers that buff you, I mean, you could run the numbers on it and then run them in content and everything. and they only give you a little bit of a damage increase. Like a supercharge that hits 50k or something, they give you much more damage potential
But
than one of those buff supercharges.
but look how carnivorous plants is hitting for it being a 25%.
Yeah, I think they're going to change it to a 50 because you could build it up so fast that it's still on cooldown, being a
Exactly.
25.
Yeah, without having
So like
to.
to me, it needs to at least be a 50 or the 1,000 or the full supercharge, whatever it is. I mean, I really don't mind. I would like to see them. I don't like to see any supercharge being a full, what is it? How much power you got? 2,000? So that's like your 100% supercharge. I don't like any supercharges being like that. I like all the supercharges to be
50%,
50
right?
each. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that way you got two of them. And
And,
give them
and,
a
and it's a little
cooldown
bit more
so that you
tactical.
can bang two of them off back to back.
Exactly. You can use them more tactical.
I'm not a fan of the 100% superchargers. I think they're silly. I don't know. That's just me. I don't like them. Like when Grand Summoning or whatever it was, the mental one back in the day when they were all 100%, everyone was like, listen, what the hell is this? I kind of feel like we went backwards in that department.
Yeah.
Both nature supercharges are decent. Carnivorous plants is a little bit better than chaotic growth. Rampage stinks in my opinion. I mean, it is what it is, and it does that job. But from a damage standpoint, I would much rather have carnivorous plants or chaotic growth. I was even trying stuff like go into the monkey because you get the crit damage and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and then pop a carnivorous plants or chaotic growth to see if you could get a little bit more bang for
I
your
was
buck out
I
of
was
it.
getting about the same damage though.
Yeah, you get about the same damage. It's not really worth it.
The
Maybe if you catch one of those lucky crits, you get a
the
little bit more, but
the
it's
only reason I was going into gorilla form really was because you can run the same loadout that I was running in gorilla form, but you can include impaling thorns, which turns into an AOE.
yeah, no, gorilla is cool too. You could put some powers in there and heal yourself, just like like in that case where we weren't paying attention and we just got our asses handed to
Yeah.
us. I mean, you could pop into monkey and give yourself a heal. So that's cool for that purpose. I used to use dog form like that back in the day in solo content. Switch to dog form, heal yourself, go invisible, and hide like a bitch for a couple seconds.
Yeah, man. In testing nature, man, I didn't know a power like this really existed in DCUO as far as having all these different forms and different interactions and things like that. Because I had only played, I had played Atomic, Hard Light, Quantum, Ice, and I think that's about it. That's all I played in the 5 years, 5+ years that I've been playing DC. So it's been basically a bunch of combo powers and a bunch of basically AMs. And at the moment, really, because if I've been playing for long enough, where I've seen so many changes come to DCUO, the AM, weapon mastery, and before that, fucking just jump clipping and all those things. You know what I mean?
I liked it back in the day when we got to mash buttons. That was great.
Fucking just
Phage dodge everything.
everything, man. It was so quick.
That was awesome.
Da 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 da
I
da da
mean,
da.
I always say this: if they came out with weapon mastery and they put it on the same level as the jump canceling clip and play style, that would have been great. Two ways to play.
Yes,
And
exactly.
then when they came out with AMs, they just put AMs on the same
On the
level
same level.
as weapon mastery and clipping. Then we would have had three ways to play, and it would have been great. I mean, they're basically trying to do that now.
That's what I was about to say.
In a
Aren't they
sense,
trying to do that
basically
now
the
with
same
changing the
thing.
names?
I'm not the biggest fan of the power back because unless you really give trolls a reason to be in the raid, you could phase a troll out of some content.
Yeah.
And I'm not a fan of that. I like to go in an alert, and I like to have a tank, a healer, a troll, a DPS, so that way the alert isn't over in 2 minutes. It's a little bit harder.
And it runs smooth.
I hate when the content is so easy. Like, I just hate going in and steamrolling
Burning
everything.
everything, yeah.
That's just, I don't know. I like to get my ass kicked. I like when stuff is difficult.
Yeah,
Like
man.
Nexus and Wave back in the day when that shit was hard, that was great.
Fucking 7 hours
But
in that damn raid, man. Like first day.
and I enjoy stuff like that. I
Yeah,
enjoy
me
the
too, man.
challenge. But
Me too.
nowadays, if someone can't beat the raid within the first half hour it's out, they're on the forums complaining. I can't beat this raid. What the hell? Like it's been a half hour, dude.
I
You can
remember
chill.
Docs, man. Docs when it came out, our league was fucking. We put the best crew together, and we were in there for like 6 hours straight, just going back and forth, trying to figure it out, learning the mechanics. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
like that was
it
really
was fun, man.
challenging.
It
We
was
had
fun. We had fun, and it was cool that everybody had patience. You know what I mean? They understood that we were there to learn, not steamroll that shit. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, the community like and a lot of people were different back then. Like I feel like the AM era has really
Spoiled everybody.
made the community a piece of shit. Like everyone's just like DPS comp this 1 2 3 boom, or they're in there with munitions and big gun and everything, and they're like, "Yo, I'm top DPS." I'm like, "You zapped a couple ads." You know, I mean, that
Nah,
don't
you,
make
you
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 a good
just passed by
DPS.
some dude that was down.
You know, like
No
I mean, none of that
pickups.
stuff makes you a good DPS.
Yeah.
Like it is super easy. It's really not even a DPS comp. It's a competition on who could get to the ads faster than somebody else these days. You know, it's nothing more than that. And that has just tore up our community, man. I hate 5 DPS raids. You know, like you just burn through the mechanics. Also, I don't like how they're kind of phasing out one shots. I like some one shots, but I just don't like random one shots. I feel there still needs to be penalties for not obeying mechanics. Like if you don't do something, you should die or close to death. Kind of like, you know,
Not one shot
Wave.
mechanics, but close to.
Yeah, like Wave, Prime back in the day. Prime had some stuff in it
Yeah, like you had to
where
get
it
out of the
could be
way of the
one
wall
shot
and
if you
shit.
were if you were a little low on health, or you could block through it and live, move out of the way, you know, things like that. Like, but the game has just come of this random one shot stuff where like a maniac will break loose from the tank and he'll just come over and kill you, you know, and there's nothing anyone could do about that. You know, like I don't like stuff like that. I don't like randomness.
Yeah, randomness
Like
intended to be interpreted as difficulty.
Like when the boss is doing something and he puts the fuck you symbol above his head, if you don't block or do what you're supposed to do,
Exactly.
I
You're
think you
you're
should
fucked.
die. Yeah, I think you should die, plain and simple. I mean,
Yeah, so you
he
pay
put up
attention. So you
the
fucking pay
fucking symbol
attention.
for his attack. You could stop DPSing or whatever you're doing and just block or do whatever mechanic you need to do. It's okay. I feel there needs to be a penalty for that stuff. Like I play Destiny too, and I like how Destiny raids are. If you don't do a mechanic, you die no matter what. Like it doesn't matter how overgeared you are. If you're in a raid and you don't do a mechanic,
You're
you
not.
die.
Yeah.
And that's how I like it. You know, like
There
your
are
whole
some
team will
raids.
die.
There are some raids
You
that
know,
you can take right now in game though. I'll be honest, in live, that you take some people to. Like you try to get Epic Odyssey with a handful of 189s right now that never really ran Epic Odyssey back in its day when it wasn't steamrollable, um, and they won't get through it right now on live.
no, it's pretty sad to watch people struggle in
I
some
mean on
content.
test. On live they'll get through it because it's a burn fest.
Oh yeah, because
It's
of
over in
CR
30
scaling.
seconds. But
Yeah,
they get on here and they try that shit and they won't get through it, man. We had a crew 189 and this was in 1.3. We had a crew 189. It was half our league, half pugs. We couldn't get through docks. We had the damage, but since we had so much damage, we were getting all four sub bosses at once, and the four people that aren't part of the group just didn't know what the hell they were doing. They were just there to fucking DPS and put
just didn't
numbers up.
want to not kill things.
Exactly. And we kept
Like
wiping and wiping and wiping. It wasn't until we started swapping them out and bringing in people from the league that we got through it. You know what I mean? But it goes to show as well too that in the stats revamp, you're not gonna just walk into docks now at 189 and steamroll it anymore. At least that's another good
I
thing.
like that. I like that though. I don't mind that. You know, if I want to do it, I'll take 3 of my buddies and we'll go in and do it.
But
You know,
oh, you mean like
like even
you
on
you
live
like you
server
like going
though.
into docks and just doing it in 30 seconds?
No, I don't like that. I like to, like, even at high level, I wish there was some sort of stat clamping. some sort
Well,
of stuff. I'm
well,
not a
look,
fan of
I'll
just,
tell you right now. There's no stat camping right now in the Stats Revamp. But if you haven't run docs yet, take a group into docs and watch. If you've ran docs on live at 189, try to run docs on live. I mean on test at 178, 188, whatever you want to run it at. You're gonna find it is a much different experience. You have to do the mechanics. You can't just steamroll over shit, which is good.
good.
It
That
makes
that's
old
exactly what I
content
like.
relevant.
And that ruins it for new players too. Like, say someone's trying to level up, they're in T3,
Yeah, now they
and then
actually gotta
IQ
grind
in
it
at
out.
190, and I just run through there and one shot everything. Nobody learned anything, and then those players who are just getting rushed up through the
Exactly.
levels, they don't learn mechanics, how to do their rolls. They just don't learn anything, and then they
Yep.
get to 188
It's free
CR,
gear.
and
It's
they're
free gear.
clueless, and they're a terrible player because of that.
Exactly.
And
Look,
it's not because of them; it's because how the game works.
true that. True that. Not only that, look, I'm leveling up. When they give us the free 100 dudes, well, I created an atomic tune because my main right now is ice. So I created an atomic tune, and every now and then I get on and I try to play a little bit. Um, and when I queue into a raid and there's a 189 in there, and he's just steamrolling through the whole thing, you still can tell who's lagging behind. You can still tell who's there and knows the mechanics of the raid and is basically somebody like me, an old school player, and you can tell the other ones that are just getting carried. And that group will keep getting carried all the way up until the last 90% of the 10% of the end game, basically. And then that's when they need to be good. And then that's when they're shit. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because that's when
Like a
they need
good
to shine.
example is DWF. We've
Exactly.
been we've been encountered with those bosses before in HH, and I guess not everybody plays survival mode, so like they wouldn't know maybe Mad Harriet. But like for the most part, we've encountered a lot of those bosses throughout the game, and people
Exactly.
go in
So we
there
know their
and they
mechanics,
still
like
don't know
stomp.
the mechanics of what they do. Like
Yeah.
they don't realize Stampa has proximity aggro and all kind of
Exactly.
stuff, and what she does and things like that. And like you'll see people who are 188, 190 getting mopped up in DWF, and I'm like, oh, I guess you can't 1, 2, 3 boom yourself through that now, can you, buddy? Like, and it's just like, man, we did this in like whatever that was, D6 or whatever. I was like, maybe if people took the time to learn the stuff, they'd be doing a lot better now. And I just laugh when I see stuff like that. I guess, but everybody doesn't want to learn. I'm the kind of person who I like to learn things.
But that's the thing. I don't want to go into it either. Thinking about the stats revamp, which I feel it is going in a good direction because they are making the necessary changes to bring balance to the game. Um, I don't feel they should. Fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say now. But yeah, I forgot, man. I freaking forgot.
I hope they keep everything hard, the lower content. I hope they don't scale the stuff so it's just a walkthrough.
Yeah, yeah. That's what we were talking about. Yeah,
Because that's not helping new players. That's
yeah.
not
That's
helping
that's
new
what I was gonna
players at
say. Like
all.
in the end, since we can't judge for other people whether they're gonna take the new when this goes live, that new that old content now for like CR people 120, 89, that content's gonna be difficult now for them.
Oh hell
You know
yeah!
what I mean? So it's gonna be a different game for them. In
It's
the
going to
long
be an
run, it's
eye
gonna be
opener for
better.
a lot of people.
Exactly, and like that's what I was gonna say. In the long run, it's gonna be better. You know what I mean? But because it's gonna create better players. But it is a system that will weed out the ones that just aren't willing to be like you and I. You know what I mean? Learn, put in the time, play the game, play the mechanics, not pay so much attention to who's doing top DPS. Put out great damage, but play your mechanics, pick people up, and do the shit you need to do. You know what I mean? And play your role. Don't just come into it just DPSing. You know what I mean? I don't
People
want to
are
see
always
you at.
worried
I
about
do
top
not want to
DPS,
see you at
man.
189 and ask you to fucking tank, and you tell me that you don't have no gear. I don't want to hear that bullshit. That's such a
Right? You should always have the other gear.
for real, man. If you have
Like,
the
how hard is
DPS
it just
gear,
to acquire random blue, green, purple pieces, you know, and just
literally,
check them
man.
into another armory?
When
Like,
I hear that shit, it triggers me so bad, yo. So you have no gear and you're like 180 plus, bro. The fuck out of
like
here.
being just a DPS, I mean, you're pretty pathetic if
Yeah,
you're
man.
like that, you know. Like, I primarily DPS,
Play your role,
but
people. Play your role.
I always have my other gear. Like, I'm light right now on live server, and I have my full set of troll gear all modded and everything, even though I very rarely ever troll. But if we
Yeah,
need it,
but
if our
it's
troll
there.
dies, we're in a pinch, I can always change my armory.
Exactly. And yeah,
You
you
know,
give
'cause,
all that nice purple shit to your DPS, but you know what? You keep saving up blues and yellows for your fucking alternate role, man. The space is
mhm.
there. Just save it.
Yeah,
So
like I don't have any vendor gear on my troll roll, but I mean, I have a full set of half vendor gear for healer, and then I have a full set of 188 gear for a troll. You know, I have two op rolls. You know,
yeah,
because I switch back and forth. I like light though. I mean, I don't know why I like light. Just because it's that underdog power, and I
yeah.
always surprise people with it.
Have you tested it here on Stats Revamp yet?
No, a little bit. I tested more rage last night
Okay.
before I went to bed. I was up to like 7 in the morning, man, on test server.
Oh shit.
Like a fucking crackhead. I was just going all out on nature, man. I drank so much coffee. I was just testing my heart out.
I can't say I haven't done it either, man.
I mean, nature's
much
my
respect.
power. As soon as that hit test,
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
can
well,
imagine, man.
my schedule is clear.
Yeah, fucking Christmas for you, for real.
You know?
Well, man, it's fucking been great talking to you, man. I hopefully when I see you on next time, or you see me on, we'll be able to run some raids together with our crew, uh, or I with yours. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. Either
yeah,
way, it doesn't bother me.
yeah, man. So thanks again, Crappy, and take it easy, man. I'm out.
All right, man. I'll catch you around. How the hell do you shut this?